All right. I'm going to assume that we're live right now. Yes, we are streaming live on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, VO Peeps. So glad to see you guys today. Thanks for joining us. I am here with Jodi Gottlieb. So excited. Hang on a minute. It always does that. There we go. Okay. Jodi Gottlieb, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. Yay. So happy to have you and so excited that in just a couple of weeks, you're going to be live at the VO Peeps in Southern California to have a wonderful class with the Peeps. And I thought we would have this impromptu interview so that they could get to know you a little bit better. So Jodi, I'm honored. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in doing what you do, because as I read your bio, I read something about you being an actress.
I started out as an actress. I had, which I liked and loved working.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really care for that side of the business that much. It's tough being an actress.
Yeah, isn't it?
And I was presented with an opportunity to direct theater in New York, and I grabbed it, loved directing. So I kind of followed that passion, which led into this could be a much longer story, but which led into producing commercials, which brought me out to California, which also, and through people, I was presented with an opportunity to be a writer-producer at CBS. It was supposed to be a 3-week job, and I stayed for 10 years.
Oh, nice.
And ended up, being director of radio promotion. Now I'm freelancing at all, I've worked at almost every network as a freelancer. And many decades ago, before I was born, I had been invited by a lot of the talent I worked with to come to their workout groups or workshops or whatever, and I would do that as a favor to them. And one day I was having lunch with an agent who got a lot of feedback about the workshops that I was guesting at. And she said, "Why aren't you doing this for yourself?" It was like one of those aha moments.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, I'll do that too. So as a writer-producer, I started coaching little by little and doing some workshops, doing privates. And now I am, 95% coaching and 5% still writing and producing. Progression, right?
Yeah, right. I love that you just seem to take every opportunity that was in front of you. That's fantastic.
I am a lot of things. I am not stupid.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about promo. Promo is a very different genre. And I think that it's good for all of us as voice actors to really understand all of the different genres in our industry. And promo to me is just, it's fascinating because it's so unlike the rest of the genres. Can you tell us a little bit about how is it different?
It's unlike the other genres because really with most of the material, most of the writing that goes on, it's not personal. You can't personally relate to it. You're not selling a product. You're not asking people to spend their money. You're asking people to spend time. And I'm sure everybody will agree that time is getting to be much more precious than money.
Yeah.
So you're asking people to sit down and watch something or stream it or record it or, however they watch TV and spend time that most people don't have anymore. You have to capture them with a story. You know about Scheherazade, to stay alive, she had to tell the king different stories for 1,000 nights or something. It's the same thing with promo. You have to tease people into asking themselves, what happens next? You're not solving a problem like a product. You're not saying, here's the problem, here's the solution. You're teasing people into joining your story and what happens next. I've seen a lot of promos where they actually tell you the ending, and I find as a viewer, well, I don't need to watch it now. The promos that we respond to are the ones that tease you a little bit with some storytelling, and all of a sudden I'm picking up my device from wherever I am saying, I've got to record that one. So, there's storytelling. There's nothing personal in it, although you do have to relate to the story. You have to find a way to tell the story.
So it's a very different type of a storytell then. Than what we're used to, I think, in commercial or narration or any of that. And so what else is important in the promo world? Because I imagine the networks, right? It's important to know, like, I guess each network is different. So that's like knowing your client, right?
It's knowing the client, the network, but not only the network, but the genre of that network. For instance, a comedy on CBS is going to sound different than a comedy on NBC, which is going to sound different than a comedy on ABC. ABC comedy on Wednesday is going to sound different than ABC comedy on Tuesday. It sounds different from ABC comedy on Friday. So you have to know the network, you have to know the show, you have to know when it's running and who the audience is, just like a product.
So I imagine that, okay, so that's good. So also, though, to get into promo is probably a little bit different than how you get into voiceover or get work in promo. So I imagine I think that's an entirely different process. And it's one that I took some promo, I took some promo coaching lessons just to kind of get familiar with it. But I imagine getting work in promo is a whole lot different.
It's different. Getting work in promo is elusive. It's not easy, but once you break in, one thing always leads to another, and it can be quite lucrative. It can be quite enjoyable. There are different ways to break in. A lot of my clients are breaking in by approaching affiliate stations around the country, getting their feet wet there. Excuse me. Affiliates as opposed to networks. Networks are the broadcast networks, CBS, NBC, streaming, cable, HBO, Showtime, all of that. Those are networks. Affiliates are local stations that air only in that market. And there are 250 television markets in the United States. And each television market has at least one, if not four, stations. So people are sending their affiliate demos, and you need a specific affiliate demo, out to all of these affiliate stations, and they're getting a trial here, they're getting a spot there, they're getting a contract there. And it's a great way to get your feet wet in the promo life.
Wow, I love that you gave it a number, because I'm always, if I'm talking to my students and I'm trying to define markets of like the different, like commercial market versus narration market or corporate market, I'm always talking about, like, let's say documentary narration. You have a finite number of networks and places that you are marketing to. And so the same thing with promo. So I would say promo is a little bit of a smaller marketplace, so probably harder to get into. As you said, it's elusive. But once you're in, is that one of those things where people enjoy a long career typically, or is it, does it vary?
It varies. It varies. There are many people who enjoy long careers, spending many, many years at one network, or, like the late, great Don LaFontaine, who was able to go from network to network all at the same time. Those don't happen as much anymore. Okay. There are some people who experience one and done simply because they weren't prepared.
Interesting. Meaning how weren't they prepared? Prepared to
do a promo. They had no training, and somebody heard their commercial demo, or they did a promo demo too soon.
Okay.
And they weren't able to step up. And so they didn't get booked again. And that will set your career back.
Interesting. Okay.
You have to, and with promo, You not only have to study and train for the reads and for the various reads and the different genres, different networks, all that kind, and what's going to be happening next week, but you also have to learn the technology. And the technology being able to work from home. And it also means being able to read to picture without the picture, because when you're working at home, you don't have the picture, but you have to be able to read to all the production elements. You have to get your timing down, all of the technical crafty stuff, as opposed to just the creative, wonderful, isn't it fun to read this copy kind of stuff. A lot more that goes into it.
How much of the promo is done in your home studio? What percentage would you say?
I would say most of it.
Oh, okay. And so do most of the home studio, the requirements of the home studio, does that also include, like, you'd have to have ISDN capabilities or?
ISDN, a lot of broadcast networks are switching over to Source Connect.
Okay.
So if you have Source Connect and you have what's called a bridge instead of ISDN, that would work too.
What about IPDTL? Is it mostly Source Connect in that market?
Mostly Source Connect, but I'm not dismissing that as quickly as I would have a few months ago.
Interesting.
That's coming up and about.
So speaking of promos and networks and the way that the digital age is happening and new media is now going to streaming, what do you see for the future of promos? Are they going to be the same? How is that changing?
It can't remain the same. We have to keep up with the market, and the market being a lot of streaming. I see right now streaming services, I'm talking about Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, they're not using voiceover. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. But I think for them to eventually break through the noise, and there is a lot of noise out there, they're going to have to add another layer to their promos, and that layer would have to be voiceover.
I like that. Actually, I love that you just said that, because I was watching something on, streaming the other day, and I was noticing how the commercial format is different. The commercials are shorter, and they number commercials. And so I've often said that, in the commercial market, things are changing because who's watching television anymore? Everything seems to be streamed. And so, I love that you have a hopeful, perspective on that, and I completely see what you're saying. They are going to need an additional layer to attract people, and now there's so much, like even our viewing habits have changed, right? So we're like binge watchers now, so I imagine that has an impact.
Even me, who grew up with television with antenna.
Yep, me too. Yeah, I get it. Wow. So tell us a little bit, I'm so fascinated by this. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks in our class. We've got, by the way, you guys, if you're interested in looking into this class, it's going to be in 2 weeks on the 22nd of July. And Diana's going to be posting the link to the registration page there. We only have a limited number of spots available. And I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for you to come, Jodi. What are people what can they expect in your class?
Okay, what we're going to do is look at copy, and everybody's going to have an opportunity to read, and I will direct. I will provide, teach, train, guide, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give you several techniques that work not only in promo, but in commercial and narration as well. Techniques that I've developed over the years that people are just like, their minds are blown. It's like, wow, that was easy. You're going to experience the difference in terms of point of view. Again, whether it's broadcast or cable or premium cable or streaming services, which we get to make up because we have nothing to compare it to yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to develop the sound for the streaming services.
I like that. That's where your creativity can really kind of take over. I mean, we are, I guess, pioneering that frontier, right?
We are.
That's what's so great, and I like to think that's true for all genres. Now that we're all progressing towards a different way of watching and consuming media, that we can all be at the forefront of determining how that evolves as voice artists.
We can. I think that the networks as well,
Mm-hmm.
the broadcast networks, are going to have to take a look at how they're delivering the material. And they're going to have to address their audiences in a more sophisticated way. There's been a little dumbing down in how they're providing the information that consumers need. It's like, oh, I'm going to spend my time doing that. But they are going to have to look at that and respect their audiences more.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's watching from any of the networks, this is my personal opinion. I don't represent anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Little disclaimer there. They're also going to have to rethink their programming to compete, which will force the promos to change.
Right. I like that.
Right.
I like that because that gives us more work.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Jodi. I am so excited to see you in 2 weeks. And, you know, for the peeps out there, I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'll take a quick look at the comments thread just to see. And maybe Diana can kind of message me if we have any questions from you guys out there. But again, Jodi will be joining us on July 22nd. It has been a long time coming. So I'm super excited that Jodi's going to actually be here live. And Jodi, if anybody tracks Jodi, knows that Jodi doesn't do a lot of these sessions at all outside of her own in LA. So for our remote peeps, this is your chance to really, you know, get in with, you know, one of the queen of promo here, Jodi, and to really, and even if you never thought about promo, I would suggest that, you know what, you just try it out, you know, because it's always good as a voice artist to know about all the different genres in the industry and become educated about them. And again, as Jodi said, I'm so excited now that you brought this up, that we are pioneering, like we can be the voice in determining, you know, how this promo industry is going to evolve. And I just think that's so exciting, you know, that we can have some control of that, and Jodi can help you to do that. So I am going to thank you so much, Jodi, for being here today and for talking with the peeps, and looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
I look forward to it.
Awesome.
Not drive so much, but I am looking forward.
I know. Well, that's why I do it on a Saturday, so you don't have to worry too much about the drive. So
I'm looking forward to being there with you in person.
Great.
And everybody, nobody has any questions? I
am not seeing. Wow, you guys are quiet out there. So I think they're in awe. So no questions?
Silent. Okay.
I know.
Come join the VO Peeps, even if you have no intention of doing promo. Come get a taste of it, because whatever we learn in that day can be used, the techniques can be used in other areas as well.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a wonderful session. And we also, by the way, we also have an audit option for you guys as well. Oh, actually, I do have a question coming in from Umberto. Do you think that promo in Europe is different than promo in the United States?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
And in how? In terms of market, in terms of size of market, or
in terms of the reads? The reads are really different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm not gonna give away how, though.
Okay, but we will find out. We will find out.
We will find out.
We will find that out in class.
That's promo. If you want to find out what the differences are, you must come to the class.
Awesome. All right, guys, anything else? I'm not seeing, I'm looking on my one page. I've got this streaming on a couple of different pages. Anything else, guys? All right, well, with that, I don't want to take up much more of your time because I know you're busy. Again, so excited. July 22nd, guys. Jodi, thank you so much. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait to be in the same room with you.
I know, yay. All right, guys, thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.